Okay, I think we are live again. Let's try to connect here. Window, there. Now, hopefully it still connects. I think we're good. Can I get that out of there, though? Let's try this again. We're going to connect to that window. I want to be in the corner of this thing if I can do it. We're moving out the whole window. Okay, do the entire screen. Maybe that'll work. That. And we're going to do entire screen. Maybe that'll be better. That's better, but can I move this over here then? I think we're in. I think we are finally in. That was kind of some strange technical difficulties there I had. Hopefully you can see that there. So there is the Andromeda. Hey, Scott. Yeah, well, I couldn't figure it out. I've never had that problem before. So I had to bail out, reboot, and then I had to only connect to the SeeStar once I was sharing the screen. It would not show what was on the SeeStar screen unless I did that. So hopefully that's going to rectify the issue here. We'll see. So if I can get Stellarium open here too. Come on now. Stellarium, where you at? I'm on a Geekum computer and it doesn't have the most power in the world, so that's probably not helpful here in what I'm trying to do. Let's get out of here. And get out of here. We'll go to Stellarium Online. Ooh, come on now. Let's see, get over here. Then here. All right. I think we're going here now. So I'm not used to this view of it, but let's go here. Go to Pleiades or go to Andromeda. I had a satellite. I think it was a Starlink went through it a little bit earlier. Here we go. So we are right on it. We get line. Oh, we get some. I'm really curious to see if some satellites get caught going through this thing tonight. It seems like I've been having that happen a lot here lately. Let's see. I should get this aligned the same way that's set up, shouldn't I? Let's see. Twist that down. I don't know if I can do it very easily. We'll see. Okay, so we are in. And how do I do full screen on the? How do I go full screen on Stellarium Online? Can I get rid of that over there? We go. That's what I wanted to see. So there's a Starlink buzzing by right there. I'm not sure how to twist my screen around here to have this the same way that Andromeda is being captured on my screen right now, right? So I need to change it around, like pull it up that way counterclockwise a little bit, right? So I can figure out how to do that. Yeah, for sure. You know, I couldn't do anything without Starlink, but it's a pain in the butt right now. You got to take the good with the bad, right? So there we go. We are 6 minutes into it. That's 6 minutes. I am in. I'm going to argue that I'm probably Bortle 3.5, as I look to the direction that I'm trying to capture Andromeda tonight. There goes another Starlink buzzing by. Let's see if I can get in here. Hey, looks like we got 5 folks in here. Hey, say hi. Tell us where you're from. Scott's down in sunny Florida, where it's probably 75 degrees today. It is all of about 2 degrees here right now in Illinois. How do I twist? I know I could rotate this. I'm not in Reno County. What the heck? That's not where I'm at. Let's do this. Not that it really matters. Use that location. We'll say I'm there. Okay, there we go. Man, look at there's Starlinks buzzing all over the place here tonight. It's cloudy again in Florida. That ought to be about right. It was a beautiful day here today. It's really cold, but beautiful day. Twist it around like this. Now we can get close to it. Yeah, we're still not there. See, yeah, it's gonna mess me up, isn't it? What I want, the angle I want to get at. So I twist it around, it's just gonna be the way it's gonna display. There are Starlinks just buzzing all over here. Yeah, we had a pretty cold day here, and I think we're gonna be well, you see down here. If you see now, you probably can't see the bottom of my screen or not. It's gonna be 6 degrees here tonight. If you see that right there, bottom left. So we are 6 degrees, and it's supposed to get down to 2, I think, here tonight. Get out of there. 6, full forecast. Get out of there. It's going to be clear all night here, but we're going to get down to 0, it looks like, here by 5 a.m. So it's going to be a cold night. Maybe the second coldest of the year. So Scott says, supposed to dip down into the 40s tonight. Heat wave for you, where for us? Ha ha ha, for sure, right? Yeah, I'd take 40. We actually got to 36 over the weekend, which wasn't too bad. The problem is it makes a lot snow turn into like ice and like snow cone slushy stuff, so it's just nasty. Well, here we are. What are we? 7 minutes 20 into it. Interestingly, I have a big battery pack attached to the star or to the SeeStar outside, and it's still battery's still going down. It's so cold. Usually it would start going up a little bit, but I can see it's losing ground here. It's just going to slow down how fast it drains tonight. It looks like, but we're at 7 minutes 30. I don't think I've had a stack fail since I started sharing here. But let's see what happens here as we go along because it's really Andromeda is really challenging. I think this time of year, right? So we're right up in here, and we're going into the west. Let's see a satellite get really close by there. All right. I should probably schedule these things instead of just coming on live like I do this because not many people know it. If I did them ahead of time, people might join. But Scott says, have you run into the issue of? I don't have the issue of that you're talking about yet. Have you ever had the issue of not charging? I have not. Every time I plug that battery pack in, it does charge, but it just when it's really cold, it slows down. But if it's I'll say if it's above 32, it's going to be 100% all night long. I know I've seen that issue out there with other people, but I have not experienced that. So yeah, I have not had that issue at all. Have you experienced that? Has that been a problem? Oh man. God, there's a way to bring people on live here. I'd bring you on and talk to you, Scott, if I could figure it out, but I don't know in the native app if I can do that or not. I'd have to do it on Restream. I don't think I can do it within here. I don't think I can anyway. No, I don't think there's a way to do that. In Florida, nope. You don't have that problem at all. Oh boy, let's see here. So we're 8 minutes 20. I don't think I've seen a stack fail pop up yet. Scott, you'd appreciate this on the Facebook pages there. I moved over to there's one for new people. It's not meant for new people. It's a C stars group that only allows people to post pictures that are only edited with the SeeStar app. If you use anything else, they won't let you in. I posted a picture there yesterday, and I didn't realize. I thought they meant like Photoshop or any of the other software that people used, Graph Expert and all that stuff. I went to I used my Samsung phone and I did like a light filter edit, and they got on me and said you can't post that here. And I'm like, really? I thought you could just use a light filter edit on Samsung, but so I had to get rid of it. But the people there, I thought they'd be a little less pretentious, but they're they're hardline what they want to see. So I respected it and I deleted the picture. But it's funny because yeah, it's a if I can find the group here. Um, it is called. Let me see if I can find it here for you. Give me just a second. I'll try to find it. Wow, that lit up like a rocket. It is. It's this group. I'll pull it up for just a second so you can see it. So that's the straight out of SeeStar S30, S50, no post processing. And so all it is are the pictures of people that are only going to post and don't do no processing. So you know how on the other forums, it's just all about the processing, which I'm just not that I'm just not that big into it. But so I was hoping the folks here weren't going to be into that as much and be there's a lot of people get pretty strong headed about some of the stuff they do as far as how editing's a really important part of this, and I don't deny that people get into it and have fun with it, but not for me. But that's the group I'm talking about, and I'm going to try to lean towards them a little bit more. They're a lot smaller group, and to see what I can see what I can do with those folks. One thing I'm really interested in. Let's see, we're 8 9 minutes 30. We're holding 91%. We haven't gone down a little bit. As cold as it is, I would expect that to be dropping. What, maybe a percent every 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, it's pretty. It seems like I enjoy that group a little bit more, I would say, than the other one. um, yeah. So anyway, I'm looking and it's not dropping. It's holding 91% here. I thought it would decline quite a bit. Oh, there goes another sea stars or a starling zipping by. Um, so we're doing pretty good here, and I'm looking at the image already. And the reason I bring this up about that other group is that I think it's reflective of the dark skies that I have. That I mean, that's 10 minutes of images, and that's a picture right now. That's an image that I see folks that are posting and doing a lot of post processing on to get just that, and I'm just getting it straight off the scope. So I am pretty fortunate where I'm at. Um, and I could go into here and do some light editing, the adjusting. I'd look at that, but I'm just not that good with it. I'm not sure. If I go here and maybe try to get a little contrast to get those dark dark parts out of the arms, but I don't know if I'm going to lose too much by doing that. Hey, Steve, how are you doing? Good to see you. We are just playing with. I don't ever mess with saturation. Do you guys mess with saturation at all when you're adjusting your images? Steve, I forget. Have we met before? Have we chatted before here? And if we have, I'm sorry, because I forget. I've got bad memory and I forget who I've talked to and who I haven't. Scott says I almost always move the contrast to 6 or 7, so I'm going to try that. So let me do that. So You said contrast 6 to 7, right? I'm going to go 7 or 8. Let's do 8. Okay. Hey, Steve, where are you from? If you don't mind sharing where you're at. I'm in Illinois, and Scott here he's in beautiful Florida. Steve says, doing well. The scope is so cool. Tempted. Oh, you don't have one. Do you have any scope at all, Steve? Do you have any telescope at all? You're north of Charlotte. So if you're are you far enough north of Charlotte where the skies to the south are pretty dark, or is Charlotte pretty much blinding everything out to the south of you? So there I'm getting, you said 6 or 7 in contrast, right? So let me get contrast. I'm going to go to 7 come on, stay at 7, baby. Come on, you can do it. Okay, looks like I'm going to settle for 6. I don't do saturation at all. Oh, you've got a Zoom LZ10, and okay, yeah. So you're considering picking up a C Star? You're tempted to do it? It sounds like if you've got those two, you've got some good experience. I'll tell you, I picked up the C Star. I'll let Scott speak for himself. Yeah, that's a very nice setup. I got this C Star in the first smart telescope I've ever had. I got it back in June or May or June last year, and I I had a refractor, and I was using my Canon Rebel and equatorial mount off a Star Adventurer, and I saw this and I just got it on a whim and thought I'd try it. But wow, on a night like this, You can see what it is here, bottom right-hand corner of my computer here. It's 6 degrees here, and it's gonna be 0 tonight. It's awful nice to sit here in my basement and let the SeeStar do the work and just let me watch it build up the mosaic here for me automatically. Um, I am considering right now, and I'd be interested in I'd love to hear Scott's perspective. I thought about the S30 to get the wider field of view, but I'm taking another look at the Dwarf 3, and the problem is it's got like a 8 or 10-week lead time on it, and I'm really debating whether I really want a larger field of view so I can do, like, more wide field shots of the Milky Way come summer. Steve says, "Yeah." Scott says, "Nice setup," and then Steve says, "It's a toss-up between a SeeStar S50 or a Skywatcher GTI 150." I've looked at a GTI 150 too. Or what that's really interesting. For me, just the ease, like I said, on a night like this, to just go out and, within 5 minutes, I'm capturing images like this, you know, and, it's easy, and let's see, my batteries, I'm holding 91% on it. I've got another battery plugged into this, so it's holding out. This will be like this all night long if I let it go, and I'll probably start getting some stack fails at some point later on. Maybe we'll see how it goes. I haven't had any yet here so far, but it's I'll say the SeeStar for the price point's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. I, uh I looked at, like, a Celestron Origin, if you've looked at those. It's like a $3,900 smart telescope. Oh, yeah, Steve says, "Oh, yeah, from the warmth of your home and a beverage possibility." There it is, there's my beverage right there. It's pretty nice not to, uh not to have to do that. It is really tempting, it's yeah, if you're familiar, if you have you looked at the S30 as well, the SeeStar S30? So little different focal lengths, so you can get a wider field of view, which is that's the one thing, you can wish for everything, and this scope's just, for $490, this is pretty damn amazing, and I can't complain. So, I've thought about I think I'm gonna give this the S50 to my grandkids, and then I might either get an S30 or get a Dwarf 3 is where I might go here as we get into the spring. Scott says, "For the portability too, SeeStar is just amazing." Yeah, it really is. It comes in a nice case. And I do not, do I even have? Did I turn the dew on tonight? I hope that isn't going to jack up my image. I need to check and see if I turn the dew cap on. Yeah, it's on. Anti-dew's on. Um, it comes with a nice container, and bought a dew shield for it. I never use the dew shield. I never ever use it because I don't really need. Oh, I hope my image comes back. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Steve says, even with Mosaic, you might pick up the 30 or a Dwarf. Yeah, I am, mainly because I've got, grandkids who live north of me, about 30 miles. I'm trying to get them into astronomy, so I might give them this S50 and then just play with it and get an S30 or the Dwarf 3. That's what I'm kinda leaning towards doing. At one point, I had signed up, I was gonna buy one of the Unistellars, the EVO, but it's so damn expensive, and I looked at the images people were getting and sharing on the Facebook group, and these images right off the S50 were just as good. They're just as good for $490. So, and I think the S30 is a little cheaper. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's crazy. The amount of money for what I'm doing with this. I'm not gonna, I'd be in divorce court if I tried to spend $2,300 is what I think the EVO was, isn't it? The Dwarf's not bad, right? It's the same price point. So I'm leaning. I'm gonna research it, but I'm either gonna do. I think I'm gonna get the S30 or the Dwarf 3, and then gift this to my grandkids. Scott says another benefit for the S30 uses the same app as the yeah. So it's so easy to use. They do have some difficult. You can tell it's not programmed by people, by folks who have English as their first language. Like I bet it's still here if I go back. Well, I probably can't see it now, can I? I bet they still haven't corrected it where when you pull up Andromeda, it says it's the Andromeda Nebula, not the Andromeda Galaxy. And It's kind of funny that they don't get that part right. 8 folks in here. Hey, tell us where you're from. We've got a great little group we're talking with here. We've got folks in North Carolina, Florida. I'm in cold, cold Illinois right now with 6 degrees, as you can see here. I'm in southern Illinois, about 200 miles south of Chicago down here. And we're going to have a clear night all night tonight, but it's going to be really, really cold. Yeah. So Steve, you're kind of just dabbling, looking, thinking about it still? Or are you really just kind of, are you in the negotiation mode? Like I would have to be with my watch scope. This is pretty good. Scott, I haven't seen a stack fail yet. Do you usually get stack fail? Yeah, LOL for sure, right? Scott, have you got any stack fails on Andromeda? Or you too, Steve? If you're, do you have difficult? Well, I guess which scope do you have? The Zumo Z10 and the AW1C. So you wouldn't deal with this issue. So when they're doing the mosaic, not the mosaic so much for me, but negotiation mode is right. Like I'm gonna have to negotiate a nice trip too. So if I wanted to get a different scope, um, I have not. I have not had any stack fails. On Andromeda. Usually, I would have had some by now. Is that true for you, Scott? But for you, Andromeda is even higher in the sky, right? You go farther south. I don't. Is that more? That might be more difficult for you than for me. Steve says, "I've always been curious about astrophotography." I tell you what, I've had Steve. I hope it's okay just to call you Steve. You got Steve 99. So I've my limits to astrophotography have been a Canon Rebel, a T7i that I use on my a refractor, 72 millimeter, and so I can do. I'm pretty good with that. But to do this stuff that you're seeing right here on screen, I mean, I haven't been anywhere near taking these kind of photos in my entire life. So for the price point, the thing is, even if you don't like it, and I'm not trying to sell you on a C star, right? But for me, I looked at it, for the money. If I didn't like it, I bet I could sell it on cloudy nights pretty easily. So I'm not too worried about it. So for the price point to dabble in astrophotography, it's a pretty easy way to get into it. Scott says, I believe I've had a few before with Andromeda, but again, you're Bortle 6. Yeah, so you got different issues than I've got. Steve, do you know what Bortle skies you have where you're at? You said you're in Charlotte, right? Nike, just do it. Let's see. I always end up in on a light pollution map for some reason. You're Bortle 4 to 5. You're okay. You're not much. So I'm right in here. I'm like right out in here. So I'm in Southern Illinois. And so, it says when I look it up, it says we're like to the south that, the nearest town of any size is way down here. So I believe I'm more like a 3 here, but you're 4 or 5. You would do great with it, I think, too. I've seen pictures people take of with the Sea Star in the Cleveland area, taking great pictures. You got to edit them and denoise. But yeah, I can't recommend it highly enough. I wish I was a paid sponsor for it, but I'm not. I'm not big enough YouTuber to do anything like that. Let's see. Yeah, all good, Nike. You're bored of 4 to 5. Okay. Scott says, Steve, I get very decent images in my light polluted sky, so you're bored. Yeah, I think it'd be fantastic. So you're far enough north of Charlotte, then you'd be in pretty good shape. It sounds like anyway. Let's see what we got going here. I'm surprised I haven't picked up a Starlink going through an image here. I've been getting images of Starlink or the other ones, the weather ones. I forget what they're called. Um, Pretty much every night now. So I haven't had one yet tonight, so I feel pretty good about it. Looks like we got 8 folks in here. Anybody want to hop in and tell us where you're from if you got any questions? Comment. We got some great folks here who've got some knowledge about and passion for astrophotography and astronomy. Hop on if you got any questions. Oh, let's see. I'm just going to let this one go. I may let it go all night here. We're holding 91% at 6 degrees outside. So I've got one of those Anchor batteries. I forget how many milliamps it is, but I think it'll hold it all night long here. I'm just gonna let this image go unless the weather makes me pull out and stop taking the images here. You, Steve, if you got any questions about this, you're a smart guy. I can tell already from what you're telling me, from what you had, your equipment, your boardable and all that. And I'm not an expert by any means, but if you got any questions about the SeeStar, I think you've got a couple of users here who've had them for a while here. I forget, Scott, when did you get your SeeStar? Steve says, I was out in the driveway last week looking at Mars, Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter. Yeah. Boy, it's a great time for all those right now. Now, the SeeStar, because of the focal length, is not going to be great for those. It's just not for the planets. I've got a decent picture of Jupiter, but it's just really small. It's not very big, even when I turn the magnification on. Scott says, in all honesty, I've only taken out my Dob for monthly public events. I've been using the SeeStar so much more, and my 16-inch Dob hasn't seen any photons in a long time. Yeah, it's a lot easier to get this thing out, right? And your birthday's next month. Yep, there you go. You don't have to negotiate then. Just you can just get it. Use it. My birthday's next month as well. Actually, my birthday's on the 23rd next month. That's a good a reason. That is an absolutely a good reason. Trying to, yeah. Are you on? Yeah, mine's the 23rd. Are you on? Do you follow the Facebook groups for the SeeStar or any of the other ones, Steve? To kind of just watch the pictures people post. Alexa, turn on 70s rock. Scott says, I got my SeeStar around the same time, I think. Yeah, it's exactly when I got mine. I think it was in May is when I actually got it. I got mine through High Point. Steve says probably gonna though. So yeah, you're leaning that way to get it. I don't. Yeah, it's so tempting to. Again, because the price point's so cheap. It's so tempting to. Mainly because I like tech, like you guys probably do, but like I said, to gift this one to my grandkids, and then I would have done it already if the dwarf doesn't have like a 10-week lead time. I would already done it, but I've got ADD, attention deficit syndrome, so to wait that long to get it, I can't do it. So that's what stopped me from buying it so far. Scott says you bought yours through Agena. Yeah, I haven't bought anything through Agena. Are they pretty good folks to work with, I assume? Alexa, turn volume down 20%. I don't want to get dinged by music on YouTube here. Yeah, I've dealt with High Point Scientific, gosh, since probably 2019. Everything I've bought's pretty much been through them, and I've been happy with those folks. And they're great on returns. They're really easy to work with. I've watched Agena or I've thought about Agena a few times, but I've just got the relationship and the comfort with the people at High Point that I haven't gone with anybody else. It's gonna take a while for this mosaic to fill out. Let's see if it's gonna be a while, but I'm wondering, we're at 17 minutes, 30 seconds. To fill the rest of this thing out, it's probably gonna take an hour and a half, I'm guessing here, for me to be able to do a first denoising on it. Scott says, no issues at all with the Gina. The main reason I bought from them was the debacle that happened with them from, I don't know if I'm familiar with that. Do you mind sharing what the debacle was? High Point, High Point is stellar company as well. Rim shot. This is for Steve. I think you're still on here. It's the mosaic mode's just a game changer for this thing too, right? So if you can watch, I can just fill out another block. So it's probably gonna take, like I said, an hour and a half, but to be able to get the image I'm gonna get out of this, assuming I don't start having stack failures or weather doesn't become an issue. It's 5 degrees. We just dropped a degree here. Cold's gonna be my biggest worry tonight. Feels like negative 22. Where's the hourly on here? Let me look at the map, make sure we're not getting any clouds. It showed it was going to be clear through midnight here. Oh, that's my radar. No precip. Where's my cloud cover at? Clouds, there we go. That's what I want. Yeah, we're going to be clear all night. Be clear all night. So it's going to be a great night. I'm glad I'm not working tomorrow. Scott says high point. Yeah, okay, perfect. I see there's other folks on here. Jump in. I'd love to chat with some other folks here. When you got people passionate and get together and kind of talk about, especially the SeeStar. I like to learn from other people, and also, I don't profess myself to be an expert at all, but to answer questions people might have or give my point of view. If that can help somebody make a decision or avoid a mistake, then I'm more than happy to do it. I seem like so this time of year, Scott, you haven't had your SeeStar out in a while, and Steve, have you had your scopes out? You said you're out looking at planets here. Have you guys had a chance to get out and see anything recently? Scott says Amazon refunded a lot of people. Oh, okay. I don't know about this. How did I miss this? Amazon refunded a lot of people who ordered the SeeStar from them because of the solar filter. Ah, okay. Amazon said it wasn't a safe filter, which was dumb. So Agena went through some no shit. Wow. I didn't know that. Holy cow. I didn't know. I'm completely blind to it. No pun intended, right? With the sun, solar, never mind. Steve says last week. So you had your scope out last week. Do you just set up at your house, Steve, in your backyard or front yard? Alexa, turn off radio. It's interesting. I've not seen a stack fail yet here. Yep. I'd love to get in and from your front sidewalk. Do you live in the city or in the country? Do you have light issues with neighbors? Scott says full moon was last time mine was out, the days before the Mars occultation, which is when the cloud. Okay, yeah, yep. I've been able to have mine out probably 5 out of the last 7 nights, but before that, I had cloudy nights here before Christmas, so it was nearly a month. I couldn't get the SeeStar or anything out at all. And then Steve's saying had the neighbors out showing it to them. That's cool. Yep, yep. Especially if they got the kids, just show it to their kids. That's the one thing about the SeeStar, and I think you guys may have a similar point of view. I'm nostalgic for the old days where you step up to a telescope and you look through the eyepiece to see what you're looking at, and you see that faint smudge instead. But there's just something different about it. But I look at it, this is kind of complementary, that you can do both simultaneously, right? You can take out your scope and have this out there at the same time. And I love that with this, like my daughter and her friends can have this app on their phone, and they can be guests and kind of watch the same thing and capture pictures and snap their own pictures of it and all that good stuff. Steve says you're in the suburbs. You got a dang street lamp right behind me. I got to have a big box to tell. Yeah, okay, yeah, that sucks. I'm fortunate that I'm way out in the middle of nowhere, and my nearest neighbor with a light is, gosh, I don't know, half mile away. So I'm pretty fortunate here, which is I think kind of evidenced by here. I've got 20 minutes. What is that? 120 pictures of Andromeda stacked, and it's looking like that already. That's pretty impressive. Let's see. I keep wanting to be able to denoise this thing, and it's you just can't do it till the mosaic's done. Yeah. Yeah, don't be too jealous because the only way I survive technologically is with Starlink, and it works great most of the time, but it's not cheap. So I pay that price to be able to live out here to have dark skies. I work remotely, so I'm on Microsoft Teams in the consulting I do, and it gets choppy at times. Like it may be doing that here. I don't know. I have not seen a satellite even come through here in a long time. Let's see. Scott says the image of Andromeda shows how dark your skies are for 20 minutes. Dust lanes. It is. It's really pretty remarkable to show the dust lanes already like that in 20 minutes. I Yeah. I could before this was like probably the first image I took with the SeeStar was Bode's Galaxy, and I think I got Andromeda into the early summer. And when I first saw this, I thought, "Are you freaking kidding me? That's with no more images than that, I can get this or exposures." I just do 10-second exposures, by the way, Steve, and I think Scott's probably the same way. But to get this kind of an image, now we're on 120 into it, 121. No, it'd be 127, right? That that's pretty freaking amazing. So, Steve, I'm assuming you said you're curious about astrophotography. You've been pretty visual, been a visual stargazer to this point. Hey, I'm showing 10 people in here. Hey, jump on in, please. Tell us where you're from, and if you got any questions, or if you're a great SeeStar user, jump in and tell us about your experience with it. Good, bad, ugly, all that. Got a Starlink come through here by now. Everything I've been imaging 5 out of the last 7 nights, and I've had a satellite fly through it each time, all visual. Yeah, I got to tell you, man, it's a. Do you have children or grandchildren or neighbors? It's just a. You'll be the coolest person in the neighborhood if you have this. They could have the excuse me. They could download the SeeStar app on their phone, connect as a guest while you're controlling it, and you'd be the coolest person in the neighborhood. To me, I'd be the coolest person with a bunch of coyotes because that's all I have here, a bunch of coyotes that behind the house here. So I've got really no one to share it with unless my daughter's here with her friends back from college. Where did I click something off to make that? Where are they at? Right a minute ago. Which one's for my? Which one's for that? Oops. I don't know where they went. Okay. Or the nerdiest. It was funny last fall. I had my daughter's friends. They're graduate students at a university, and I was teaching them some of the basics. And hey, you're a big nerd, but hey, they're biology majors, so biology didn't say it because they're kind of nerds too. But yeah, you're the nerdiest when you want. That's a cool. It's for me. Speaking for myself, this is really invigorated for me. I've been interested in astronomy since the early '80s, probably 81, 80, 81. And this has brought it to a whole nother level for me in terms of interest in astronomy from where I used to be. It's I know the night sky better than I've ever known it in my life now, just because of the Sea Star. I just know it way better than I ever did. And not that's a defense satellite, then, isn't it? Cool. Yeah, for me, it's taught me the night sky I've ever known it before. I knew it pretty well, but even now some of the really strange stuff, I know when it's coming or when the best time to look up is for it. It's really cool, and I attribute that to the Sea Star. Scott says, in this new generation, everyone lives on their mobile devices, so I really think the Sea Star telescopes really have the appeal for it. Yeah, I think it really is just like a lot of other things with smart devices. It's revolutionizing astrophotography. and you see it, and I've been at this 30 years or over 30 years. You can see the hardcore guys who have all the gear. They probably 4, 5, 6, $10,000 worth of gear, and I can tell, when you see them online, they're just bitter. I think they're a little bit bitter about this, that you can do this for $480, and it's just a way, it's revolutionizing it. It's bringing people into the hobby that never, ever, ever would have gotten into it before. And, my daughter, I think I shared the other night, my daughter, she didn't show really interest in astronomy before, but now she's really eager and wants to know the next time she can borrow it. And it really changes. It's really changed the game completely, which is a good thing in my mind. So the more people interested in it, the more innovation, and that's a good thing. And the price point for all this stuff is more and more reasonable. The more and more people that want it, as long as they can supply can meet demand on it, right? Okay, just got another one up there. I'm really eager to get this filled in so I can do a denoising on it. The one thing Scott says here, I've had someone tell me that isn't real astrophotography. Jealous much? Yeah, exactly. That's not real. You're not really doing that. Yeah, it's fun. It's funny. It's it is. It's jealousy speaking, and just a little bit of bitterness because you know I don't know how I say it. A lot of folks are into this hobby. They're engineer types, and they want complicated. They enjoy the technical sides of it. Well, I mean, this just illustrates. I'm a history major, and I've got a master's in technology, but I'm not an expert. Anybody can do this. My daughter and her friends had it out operating. I loaned it to them last fall. They are out using it within 15 minutes, and that's a good thing. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of bitterness and jealousy from from the old guard, but that's whatever. It does kind of bug me how they treat people on some of the forums, though. They'll just, somebody's asking a question and, they'll get kind of snotty with them. You kind of get that in cloudy nights too. I haven't been on cloudy nights in a while, but it's like they got to haze new people a little bit sometimes. It feels like. All right, so there we go there. Let's see. I was going to show some of the pictures I've gotten. If I can pull them up here. Let's see. My bandwidth's going to be quiet. I'm pulling up too many things. My bandwidth's going to be a question here in a minute. Let's see. There was uh, there was my view at sundown tonight. That is to the west. So a lot of the snow went away over the weekend because it rained last night up in the 40s, and just about all the snow's gone. That's a remainder of a cornfield. It's a stock field, and there's those deer were in my yard behind my grapevines eating those, eating on everything earlier here this evening. That was me trying to set up this evening. Yeah, so there they were again. They were eating on something there, but that's what was going on in the west. Let's see. Let's see. Scott mentioned the jealousy. Steve got on and says, "Why aren't we just must enjoy the hobby for the sake of it?" Yeah, exactly. Scott, great view indeed. Yeah, the wildlife. Yeah, I've got deer all over the place. Deer, coyote, just a lot of fun. Let's see. How long, Scott, if you or Steve, if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been into astronomy? I'm not trying to ask you your age, but I guess I am in a way. I'm just curious. I guess I'm considered probably a grizzled old veteran. I think Scott's probably pretty close to me in age, I'm assuming. God, there's got to be a way. I wish I knew how to do this. There's a way when I use Restream, which is a streaming service, or if I'm on TikTok, then I can bring people and talk live, and a lot of people aren't comfortable with doing that, and I respect that. But sometimes I feel like it'd be cool to hop on and talk instead of having to chat back and forth and just listen to my dull Midwest voice. It's looking damn good. What are we, 25? It's still holding that 91. That's interesting to me. It's 59 there, so yeah, you're an old yeah, yeah, that's right. I'll be 59 in February, so my in February 23rd is my birthday. I'll be 59 then. So yeah, hard to imagine we're old timers, right? Class of '84. Steve, all good. A couple years now. The fifth will be my 56. Yeah, so we're all about the same, all at the same age. So you're like the class of what, 1987? You're my brother's age, or 88, 87. All right, there we go. I was going to try to show just for fun and shits and giggles here. So I can find it here. Hold on. Let's see. I was going to show, for Steve's sake, some pictures of some other things. So my wife and I made this is how boring I am. We made wine this weekend. We had to 87, 88. We made wine this weekend, so we put it from a 5-gallon bucket into this carboy, and it's a raspberry peach sangria. We made that this weekend. And then what else I got cooking here? I was gonna try to show you some pictures that I've gotten off this, um, Steve, for your benefit. Darn it. I was in the process of moving all my photos from I'm moving away from Google, and I moved to a different service here. Yeah, it's my wife and I have made wine for a long time, and we every New Year's Eve we make a batch for the new year. So yeah, we're making peach sangria. And it's just as easy as taking a picture of Andromeda here to make it. It's really easy. So I think for like 65 bucks, we're gonna get a couple of cases of wine out of it. Let's see if I can find. I'm moving all my pictures away from Google because I don't like what they're doing privacy wise. So trying to find some pictures I took recently here off the SeeStar. I say pictures I took, pictures that the SeeStar took. And I sat in front of my fireplace as it did it. Let's see, here. Sign in. Let's see, we got, well, I think you may have, yeah, let me hit that one. So there's the Pleiades. That was the other night. And let me see what else I got here. Let's see. Again, I'm not great at photo editing. Here's some moon pictures I got back during the last full moon. Looks Tasty Scott says, I don't think I can post links in here. Oh, you don't think it will let you? Yeah, you had to send them by email, but it won't let you do it. You can't post links to your photos in chat. It won't let you do it. The Seven Sisters. Yeah, I did the Pleiades. This was the moon. I got these from a really clear night. After that was right. Oh, it's before full moon. I forget what day it was. Yeah, I'm gonna moon you. I mean, the moon's just a no-brainer. Right? It's not hard at all to do this. Yeah, try to put your links there. See if it'll let you do it. Let's see. Okay, here's probably no. Let me see here. That's not it. Ah, they haven't migrated over. Here's my usual. This is my usual setup before I. There's my setup before I got the SeeStar that I go out with every night. That was my typical setup, doing some wide field stuff. I've had, God, I've had numerous telescopes over the years, and that's the only one I have currently. There's um, the Atlas comet last September. Pretty proud of that one. That was a tough one to get. That was not an easy picture to get. Let's see what else we got going here. There's a lot just haven't moved over here. Huh. They just haven't moved over yet. Let's see. Veil Nebula. That was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good for as dark, and the filter had to pop on for that one. That was in the middle of the mosaic for that one, and that was just 24 minutes into that. That wasn't too bad. Let's see. I missed a couple here. Sorry about that. Gonna moon you. You'll try. Chris. Hi, Chris. How are you? Crispy Chris. How are you doing, sir? And then Scott says I got bumped out of trending. And, and then Scott says that comment was it was really cool. Hi, Chris. How are you? Crispy Chris says snowing here in Maryland, doing well. I do not see a link. It did not show up. Scott did not show up. So yeah, apparently you can't. Maybe if you don't have the HTTP in front of it, it'll work. I don't know. Or is it a link to like a Dropbox or something? It's snowing in Maryland. What's the? It's we're in. I'll everybody tell you where they're from. I'm in Southern Illinois, and it is right now. It's holding 5 degrees right now at the moment. It's going to be a really clear night here. I'm in Southern Illinois, and 5 degrees going to be clear all night. I'm way out here, and then Scott is in Southern Florida, and then Steve is north of Charlotte, and I think he's probably got a chilly night as well. 59 in Florida. I forget what you said it was in the Carolinas, Steve. Oh, you're 24 there and snow. Yeah, 24 and snowy. Yeah, I'll take. Yeah, I'll keep my 5. It's okay. I'll trade it because I got pretty good skies here. Chris, do you have a SeeStar or do you have a smart telescope? I do not think it's amazing tonight unless somebody else saw one pop up. We are now 180, so I'm doing 10-second exposures. So that's 180 pictures. The battery's holding at 91%. So we're doing you're 35 and clear. Okay. Thank you, Steve. Uh, you just got it last week. Okay, awesome. Is had any luck with it so far? Is the weather's been pretty nasty in Maryland, I think, hasn't it? About like you probably get the weather I get over in Illinois a day or so later. It's been pretty. Last week wasn't so bad. It's gotten better, but I had my SeeStar locked up for over an hour or 4 weeks because it was so cloudy out every night. Just got it last week. Did you Was the delivery time pretty quick on it, or was there a lead time? There's probably not a lead time on the you got the S50, I assume. Oh, here we go. We got a little satellite cruising by. It's gonna be out of my it'll be out of my field of vision, and the the mosaic square would have to be just right over that spot to catch it anyway, so it's probably not gonna show up in the image. I am surprised I've not got a satellite showing up yet. There we go. We were down here. I just plunked that, and you probably saw it. Is that the same one? I don't know what kind of satellite that one is. The Gaia. I don't know what that one is. Yeah, Chris, you loving it yet? Have you had a chance to do anything with it? I've had a few good nights. S50 took about 5 days from California. Okay. Are you you're I'm guessing this isn't your first telescope. The SeeStar is not your first. I'm not gonna be able to denoise here for a while yet. I really wanted to show the difference of with the in-app denoising, how much it clears up a lot of this stuff. Scott, did it come with clouds as well? Mine sure did. That is the way of it, is it not? That is the way of it. I cannot do the split screen in Windows here correctly because it doesn't give me the way I want to set it up here. Get that in there like that. There you go. Oh, okay, Chris, you've got a 10-inch Dobsonian. Great. I've never had a Dobsonian. I did have the benefit of in the early 90s, I lived in Wisconsin, and there's some guys in Lake Mills, Wisconsin. Let's see if I can pull them up here. If you're familiar with, I don't know, still in business now, Obsession. Yeah, these guys. I lived about a half hour from these guys, and they had these monster Dobs, and I got to go out and on a few nights with them on some of their biggest ones, like the 20-incher, 22 at the time. So I've never owned one, but I got a chance to help set these up uh, with these guys years ago. They don't look like that now. They've changed a lot. It looks like. But then my next door neighbor worked for a company in Rockford, Illinois, called Astrophysics. And I got to tell you, that was a treat to have to have one of their astronomers or one of their engineers as my next door neighbor, and to go out and to be able to take their telescopes out and test them was unbelievable, especially in January like this. Chris says, "Wow, yeah, for sure. That's a Gucci brand. That's a Gucci brand for sure. Yeah, for sure." But the biggest, I did have a 10-inch Meade back during what would that have been? Was that been Shoemaker Levy? Shoemaker Levy, like in '96 or whatever, '93, '96. Is that right? Was that Shoemaker Levy? I had a 10-inch Meade Starfinder then on a big German equatorial mount, and I sold that to a professor from the University of Illinois a couple of years ago. And I've had a couple other Meads over the years, and then I've got that Aptura, and I've had a couple others too that I've in and out of and sold. Yeah, they are too sweet, that's for sure. It was crazy being able to set those up, I can still remember very clearly in January. Gosh, that would have been 1992 or 3, and setting up those Dobsonians in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. and then a refractor from astrophysics, and just in unbelievably clear nights, and the stuff you'd see would just be crazy. Let's see. Have you had your Dobsonian for a while, Chris? Yeah, it really was. I can remember walking out, the guy from astrophysics, um, he just lived right next door to me, and he asked me if I wanted to come out and do first light with a new refractor he was testing. I said, "Hell yeah." And it had to be the coldest night of my life. I think it was like -11 night, but there's crystal clear skies. And I came out dressed like a, oh my God, I had several layers of coats on. It was standing in a cornfield, as I remember it, in a January night in Wisconsin. You got to be dedicated to do that. Yes, drool is right. Drool is right, man. Hey, I've got to go refill my drink. I'll be right back. Oh, sorry about that, gentlemen. I had to take care of a dog and get a drink refill. What have I missed here? Let's see. It's supposed to be pretty clear here Wednesday night. Gonna take him out. Perfect. And then Chris says once a month I go to the local community college. They've got a they got an observatory, and you had yours about 3 years. That's awesome. And Scott, okay, right? Scott, man. Anyone else? Yeah. It's so I'm close to retirement, so I'm hoping to. I just do consulting part time, but I really want to do outreach when I uh, when I get to that with them. Yeah, I got a big Siberian and a little Shih Tzu. The husky's just a mess. Let me see if I can get a picture of him. Man, knock on wood or something here. I've got no dropped images here so far. No stack fails. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm trying to find a picture of a husky here. How do I not have a picture of my damn husky here? Hold on, I'll find one here in a sec if I'm neglecting the chat here. How do I not have a picture of a dang husky? Now here he is in all his gloriousness. Here he's winking at me. There he's falling asleep with his tongue hanging out. There's the glorious picture of the husky right there. He sheds. I'd ship him to anybody who wants him. The hair he leaves around the house is just crazy. But yeah, that's him. Let's see. Let me go back to chat. Sorry about that. I've got Scott says I love the reactions from people and forget not everyone has seen even the moon through tele. That is for sure. The thing is, how do you would you that image is coming? Yeah, it really is. Look at that. It's still 3600. So if you do outreach, would you just have? I've often thought about this. If you're going to do outreach, will you just have people download the app onto their phone and let them just use it and be there in guest mode like you can? So if you're not familiar with it, you can have, I think it's up to 12 people can be a guest and see this screen. They couldn't do anything. They would just watch what you're doing, but they could experience it that way. Or, excuse me, I'm sorry. Or would you have like a small TV screen that they could see what you're and pull this up on there like I am now? So if you do outreach, which would be the preferred way to do it? Is the question. So images come along nicely. Yeah, it's a beautiful animal. He's so high maintenance. He just create. Oh, look at that. That one's gonna go right close. That globe star that might get. It's a little far out. It's probably up in here. That might have caught if the SeeStar was taking an image up here, it might have caught it. But it won't. It's not. I'm guessing it's doing an image maybe here. Yeah, it's doing an image right there. Um, yeah, enough fur for another dog. That's true. Yeah, exactly. We have to defer them all the time. It's crazy. Scott, when I've taken my SeeStar to a public event, I just have my iPad as a guest. So okay, then they can see it. Are you going to hand the iPad around? And then Steve says 12 guests. I don't know. It would be kind of cool if ahead of time have like a QR code. They download the app, and then I don't know how complicated that would get. To have them join as a guest. That'd be really cool. I think to do that. We lost. Oh, get back to 31. There we go. Yeah, it would be really cool, I think. I thought about just bring a small TV screen or something, cast it out. The iPad's perfect, right? Because you can show it in uh, landscape mode. So it would flip this on its side, and it's maybe makes it look a little. I like the view on my iPad better than I do on my. That's a Samsung 23G right there. I like it better on the iPad than I like it on there. And that for a public event, that would be great. I think it'd be a blast to do it. It would have been if I had had this during the solar eclipse last year. I definitely would have hit the schools up and tried to get this out there. Scott says I may try that next week. See if anyone wants. Yeah, I mean, it's simple enough. That's what I had my daughter's friends do. I just had them all download the app, and they were all on as a guest. Steve says our local astronomy club used a Unistellar and opened up for 12 guests. That's pretty cool. Man, I came really close to buying a Unistellar. I came that close to doing it, and then I watched the issues on the user group on Facebook. People were talking about it, and I thought Man, if I'm gonna shell out over $2,000, I don't want any issues like that, so I did not do it. Chris says, "Agena Custom was the company I ordered from. They gave a good discount, 439 bucks. Had to get it." Yeah, for sure, had to get it before the prices go up. And that's the company you bought from too, Scott Agena, correct? You were describing I didn't realize they had a little that and Chris, you got sorry, you may have said it and I forgot it. Oh boy, you can see I was looking at Unistellar last time I was on here. Yeah, you got the S50, okay. I mean, the Dwarf still got the pre-order on it. Steve says, "Yes, because the price is close to 5." Yeah, it's 499. I think it's been their default price on it. I think I got it last spring for 430 or 49, I forget. But I am that's just too much money for that. And if you follow the groups, I mean, it'd be really cool to have this, but if you follow the groups on Facebook, and people are having issues with them, and if I'm shelling that much money out, I better not have any damn issues with it. So, they're and I think their technology is falling a little bit behind too with what, SeeStar is kinda blazing the way with here, I think. Really tempted on this, I was telling these guys, "Yeah, wait for a sale." Yep. Yeah, for sure. Um, I'm really tempted to either get this Dwarf 3, but yeah, the pre-order is ridiculous. Looks like the pre-orders are crazy still on the SeeStar S30. I'm tempted. I don't know, but I can't say or I can say that I'm very very happy with the S50. It's been just it's got me so much more into the hobby than I ever have before. Let's see. Steve says I'll wait for sale, and then agreed. The origins. I mean, it's a lot of money for that thing, right? I actually talked to a salesperson from and I haven't even considered the Vespera really. I just don't know anything about it. But I talked to a salesperson about that scope from Unistellar, and they had about had me sold on it, but I backed out, and I thought, you know, that's still 2,500 bucks, and the images I was seeing were no better than what you're seeing right here on that's pulling live right now. So I thought, yeah, I'm not gonna burn that capital with my wife trying to get another telescope on something like that. So just no, didn't do it. Yeah, this image is looking pretty damn good. All those dust lanes, yeah. And you got M110 there looking pretty good. Um, what's going on there? Thought I had a satellite coming in. Nope. Let's see. Let's see. We've got a couple other folks still here. 6 people. Does anybody out there want to introduce yourself? We're a pretty innocuous group here. Pretty safe. We are now 39:30 into it, so I don't know if I described it for Chris, but I just do 10-second exposures on this thing, so we're just about 240 exposures into it at 10 seconds each. I can't denoise yet, so if I try to denoise right now, I'm going to get this. So it's going to tell me incomplete, cannot be performed. But as you walk through here, it's pretty. If you know all this, you can stop me. But for the benefit of somebody who's just getting it, I like to kind of walk through. So pretty intuitive, simple script here, and it gives me basic information. What you're getting. It's still the Andromeda Nebula. Look at that. I still haven't fixed it. Give you a description, 2.5 million light years away, and they give you the little graph of the military time across the bottom, and then the how many degrees high it is. So we're 56 degrees high right now. We're on a downward slide till after midnight. It looks like. So it's it's a pretty good screen, and then it's got the showing the filter, and then you can adjust brightness, contrast, saturation there. Autofocus is grayed out right now. Joystick's grayed out. The denoise will not work until the mosaic is complete, and then you hit the mark button. It'll tell you what you're looking at exactly. And then Scott informed me the other night I can hit that, and it takes the descriptions away and adds them. I did not know that until Scott told me that I figured when you told me that was that Friday, Scott. That's what that button does. And then down here it shows the last picture that you took. So I click over here, it'll show me the pictures I've got on board. So I denoise and snap a picture at different points. So that was the Pleiades on what night was that? That was 91 minutes on January 16th at 9:30 at night. And then I can go over here and it pops up the Sky Atlas here. And I hope I don't screw myself up here by doing that. And there we go, we're fine. And so now we're 40 minutes 40. I cannot believe I have not had a stack fail yet. That is unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. All right, we got 13 folks in here now. 10. Nope, 3 got on and said they didn't like my voice and they bailed out. So there's still other folks here. We are also holding our own on the battery here. I've got I don't know how many milliamps it is, but it's pretty thick battery, USB battery. So it's holding its own on a cold night. We're still 5 degrees. It's 91% and holding, which is fantastic. If it gets above freezing, it would be about 100% and hold that all night long. But we're standing steady at 91% right now, and I don't anticipate that going down. I don't know. It'll be a test. As it gets down below closer to 0 here tonight, I'll be curious what it does. Where's my forecast at? Yeah, it's not the one I want. I hate Microsoft. See on map. I want to see the weather here. Oh well, whatever. But it'll be interesting to see how it holds it over as I get later into the night. And there's 11 folks there. Anybody new here jumped in? Nope, don't see anybody new. There's 11 folks I'm showing. Introduce yourself. Where are you from? Do you have a SeeStar? Are you interested in one? Scott says Andromeda is currently 45 degrees above my horizon. That's okay. That's interesting to know. So you're 45 degrees up, and what did it say I'm at? I am 55 degrees. So yeah, so you're 10 degrees farther down the globe than I am, right? And I'll have good viewing. Looks like I'll go to it'll drop down on the west for me probably about 11 o'clock. So I'll have to it'll start getting some pine trees I've got on the west part of my property, and I'll start to lose this. Somebody jumped in. Hey, Texas Shadow. Hi everyone. Running an S50 on the Rosetta Nebula, 27 minutes captured so far. All right, awesome. Hey, Texas Shadow. What state are you? I'm kidding. I was going to say, what state are you in? But I'm joking. How are things down in Texas tonight? I'm assuming that's where you're at. 27 minutes in the Rosette. That's awesome. So you're over. You are way over here. You're way over in the east coming up. Just down from Betelgeuse, and then Procyon, and right in this area, so above the Dog Star. And you were aiming. I did Rosette in December and got some pretty good pictures there. Evening, Texas Shadow. It's cold in Texas, huh? And Chris says, Chris says, that's what I've been using is 10 seconds. I haven't figured out a mosaic yet. Cool. Yeah, the mosaics, it's crazy simple to use. You could walk through it and I mean I figured it out, and I'm not a rocket scientist. I figured it out very quickly. You'll figure it out real fast, and it's just so sweet to have. Go back over here. And let's see. Scott says or asks the question, Texas Shadow, how long have you had your SeeStar? And then you were answering me, Texas Shadow, saying, yes, having the moon chasing me too. Yeah, you got the moon right on your tail here, don't you? We're getting later into the waning side, though. Let's see where you're at. We're not up yet. We're not up yet. There's Mars. So where's the moon? It's still not. Got to be fighting the moon here soon, right? Let's see. Scott, a few weeks now. Oh, you've had it a few weeks. Okay, awesome. You liking it so far, Texas Shadow? And Chris, yeah, you'll figure it out. But if you got questions, yeah, I mean, the user groups on Facebook are great, and it's not hard to figure out. It does take a heck of a lot longer to build the image up, right? You're seeing I'm going here. I've been on since, let's see, it's 7:45. I've been on for nearly 2 hours, and I still don't have the mosaic filled out yet. So you won't be able to, if you are familiar with this, I'm sorry, I don't want to assume you don't know. The entire mosaic will have to fill up to be able to hit the denoise button, and it does a nice little routine to get rid of some of the noise on the noise of the image. It does a very nice job with that, but you have to fill out the mosaic completely. I'm gonna guess I'm still 45 minutes to an hour away from the mosaic being complete to be able to denoise. Texas Shadow, you got a few weeks now. Scott says, amazing little setup, isn't it? Love mine, even with it being cloudy here. And then Texas Shadow says, yes, there's a small learning curve. It's really easy though, isn't it? It's crazy easy. And um, hopefully you guys are smarter than me. When I got mine, I went through the routine every time I set it up of doing the compass, so doing that spin around 8 times thing, and then leveling it, and I'd try to level it to point 0, to right to 0. I tried to make sure it was dead on. Not anymore. I have not leveled it, or because I put it in the same place, and I have not had to do a compass calibration, I don't know how long. Once I've done it, I'm done it, and I'm good. So, I mean, beyond that, I don't really have to mess with mine too much. Uh, it's nice to have Stellarium going, so that's cool. But otherwise, it's pretty much does its thing. Scott says it's so easy even a game to do it. I just dated myself. It really is easy, and that's just so cool. It's so stinking cool to be able to that quickly get out. Texas Shadow, have you had an interest in astronomy for a long time? And that sounds like Chris has because he's had his Dobsonian for a long time, or for a while anyway, it sounds like. No satellites here. No satellites. Oh, I wish it would fill out this mosaic. Play around with this a little bit. I'm getting away from Scott's recommended settings here just to play with it a little bit. Oop, yeah, I know, way too much. Way too much. Right about there looks good, doesn't it? I don't ever mess with saturation, so I just leave it where it's at. Let's see. Scott says, I will do a compass calibration after any update to the app. Just a thing idea. So mine updated the firmware tonight when I logged in, and I did not do a compass. I didn't do compass at all, but it's probably a wise thing. You're probably a smarter guy than I am doing that. It, I I put mine on the deck tonight, so I put it on a different spot, and it was still just dead on. I got just setting it on my deck, which isn't the most level thing in the world, but it's still pretty level. It was at point 4 degrees level, and I didn't mess with the compass calibration at all, and I was fine. I mean, it went right to Andromeda, no issues at all. Let's see here. Yes, so I've got mine. Actually, I could probably. Can I bail out of the app here and let's see? Yeah, this is on my deck. This is not a live view of my deck. But I did put it on my deck tonight, so that's where I'm at tonight with it. Let's see. What else we got here? Got some stuff going on in the chat. Scott says, Texas Shadow says, yes, more in the astrophotography of now. Yeah, for sure. Same for me. Uh, I've been into astronomy since the 1980s, dating myself here. But and I just dreamt of having pictures like this, right? It's like I didn't have the money to do it or the time, and now I can just go out and get them just like that. So it's just fantastic. Scott says it seems to it seems to need it more for solar. Yeah, I agree with solar and the moon, right? You need it dead on for the compass, I think. And then Chris says, I got a good video of the sun with the clouds passing by. I couldn't believe how easy it was. The biggest problem I have is trees in the yard. Yeah, for sure. And Chris or Scott says, Chris chains. The first time I put the solar filter on and got a picture of the sun, I had never been interested in solar at all, ever. I go back to when you poke a pinhole in a shoebox during a solar eclipse type stuff. Other than that, I didn't have any interest. But to track the sunspots, and then with all the aurora borealis we had earlier this year, yeah, with the aurora borealis we had this year, yeah, that solar filter is fantastic. Mine, like an idiot, I I nudged it a little too hard and popped the foil, whatever you call it, out, and I've had a hard time getting it back in there. So I need to get another one because I kind of ruined it. There's another globe star just went by, so it's another weather satellite just went by, but it's not miraculously. I have not had. Oh, here's another one to come through my field of view. I don't know what that one is. That's another NORA, another defense satellite. That's going to come close. I don't know where the SeeStar's taking a picture right now. So this is going to pass like over this way, right? As it for in relation to this. So yeah, that's not going to capture that one. I'm going to get away with not a satellite in here again. I usually get one by now. Texas Shadow, where in Texas are you at? If you don't mind asking, are you way out in West Texas where you probably got some incredible skies? Scott says get some Bader film and use that to make a filter. Yeah, I saw that, and that'd be a lot easier and less expensive than buying another filter. I need to do that. It just hasn't been on my list here, but yeah, that's a great idea. I forgot about it. Yeah, thank you for that. Scott's always got such good ideas. It was a great, fantastic. Um, Makes me think ways I don't think about this sometimes, or reminds me of things I've forgotten. Chris says I feel like I've cheated on my. Yeah, I have I have not had my Aptura refractor out since last summer. And yeah, it's just sitting there, and I feel bad about it. My wife and I were making wine today, and I've got sitting in the room where we make wine, and it's like crap. I never take this thing out anymore in the Star Adventure it's on. It just sits there. Scott says there is an inner ring to the solar filter that you can remove, and the filter pops right. Okay, yeah, thank you for that. And Texas Shadow says Houston. All right, Houston. I into Houston. I did consulting with uh, Baylor St. Luke's Hospital for a lot of for gosh, I don't know, for the better part of a year. My connection's unstable. It says here. Um, yes, I hope you can hear this. So yeah, I flew in and out of Houston for the better part of a year, going down to Baylor St. Luke's and doing consulting with the folks at downtown and then out at the Woodlands. I spent a lot of time in Houston. Just I loved Houston. I did not like the traffic, though. I'll tell you that. That was not to my liking. Yeah, I hope y'all are hearing me. It just got a message on my computer saying my bandwidth's really unstable right now. I'm showing 11 folks on here now. Come on in. Steve says, if you cheated, Chris, I'm being tempted here. That makes the host. Hey, hey now, hey now. Oh boy, Steve, you need to go out and buy your SeeStar and be done with it, man. You've got your birthday coming, man. I assume um, you've got your birthday coming up. You need to go out and buy one. Be done with it. Join the crowd. Get on in. Texas Shadow. Yeah. So you're. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Texas Shadow. Are you in Houston? Are you south of Houston? Or I'm curious because man, the skies have to be tough there. I'm thinking with all the light pollution. I'm waiting on that. We are 47:30 into it. Still holding 91%. We are getting close to the what would that be? We're not to the hour mark. That would be 360. So we're 50 times 3, 50 times 6. That'd be 300 pictures into it so far, or just about. Scott says for Steve, like I said earlier, Nike, just do it. Yeah, I'm confident if you didn't, if depending on what your factor is on wanting to be able to get it, I'm sure you'd like it. I'm sure you'd like it. It's just whether you could, if you're like me, you have to do some negotiations, as I said earlier, with a spouse on it. Hello, hi Fernando. Oh my gosh, you're in Recife. I'm extremely jealous. Extremely jealous. How are the skies? How are the skies in Brazil, Fernando? Everybody, welcome Fernando. Yeah, that's awesome. We usually get a gentleman from Ireland in here, and he probably he's probably in bed right now. I'm guessing. Brazil in the house. Oh, let's see. 48. We have not had a stack fail yet. Oh, raining a lot, huh? Oh boy. Are you a SeeStar owner, Fernando, or do you have a smart telescope or traditional scope? I've got to pull up Recife and see where you're at because I don't really know where. I know it's got to be beautiful where you're at. Oh yeah, you're no, yeah, fantastic. It's gotta be beautiful. I'll take that rain you got for the scenery you probably have that you get. Fernando, now raining a lot. Texas Shadow, you're west. You're in Katy, Texas. Okay, light pollution is tough. Yeah, you're still getting some probably pretty good pictures off of it. You're doing the rosette, so you're looking to the east. Yeah, it might be a little tough right now with Houston, but you're probably getting good pictures. Fernando, I'm going to Florida this year, and I'm going to buy an S50. All right, you can talk to my friend Scott there. He's in Florida, and he's got an S50. Do you have any other scope right now, Fernando? Anything else? So, I think everybody here, with the exception of Steve, who's on the verge of getting one, it sounds like, has an S50. You're in Katy, yeah. Yeah, oh god, I miss Texas a lot. I spent most of my time up here in the Woodlands is where I was at, working with the hospital, Baylor St. Luke's there, and then I worked downtown quite a bit, and it drove me nuts in the whole medical center area here. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm going to Florida. Okay, Chris says I got a beautiful image of the Pac-Man Nebula. Looks as good in 40 miles. Yeah, that's God. I wish there was a way to. I guess you can share them on the app if you look it up. If you're familiar on the SeeStar app, you can go and share the community and share them there so other folks can see them. But I've got one of the Pac-Man, but it's not fantastic. But that's really cool to see that. That's a one that I've tried to. I have not got it on my list to get the best image possible of it yet to do the imaging amount of time like I am here on Andromeda. Fernando says it's a very expensive tax to import from the US to Brazil, 100% tax over double. Oh, really? So it'd be worth your time if you're in the States to get it here then. Okay, okay. And then Texas Shadow says I put a dew shield and it helps with it. Oh, okay, light pollution. Yep. Do you Yeah, for sure. So that's gonna take care of a lot of the stray light just right in your neighborhood, right? That should help out quite a bit. I do not. Well, I don't where I live, I really don't need one because 'cause I'm so far out in the middle of nowhere in Southern Illinois. There's really no straight lights out there to be worried about. But yeah, I could see that definitely. That dew shield would help dramatically for you. Um, your SSM 212 on the app. Can you go out, Scott? I don't want to. I can bail out and go into the community and not lose the imaging, right? Like I'll come back and it'll still be there. Is that correct? I think I can. I don't want to jack. I've never done that before, so I'm not sure it'll work. I was going to try to look you up on the app here if I can. Yeah, that's pretty tough. That is pretty tough. Man, how does that work? I don't know enough of how that works. So if you knew somebody in the States, they could buy it and send it to you, right? Or would that be breaking the law? Oh, there's another satellite. That is a Russian one, I think, is it not? Cosmos is a Russian satellite, is it not? I can't remember. I used to know that a lot better than I do. All right, I'm going to try it. It may if it screws up my imaging session here, it screws it up. But I think I can go here and go down to community, and then we should be able to look up Scott's images here. I hope I don't mess it up. I am limited by my Starlink bandwidth here right now. I got a feeling. Mm, I'll give it a little more time. Yeah, it's not going to want to do it here. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Yeah, I'm going to chicken out here, I'm afraid. Let's see if it gives my image back to me. It says 50 minutes 40. Hopefully it loads it. Otherwise, I may have cut the whole thing. Oh, there, we're back. Okay. I'm going to remember that though, Scott. So you're Scott Smith 2112. Yeah, if it's that's almost worth it then. If it's you're saying for Fernando, if it's double. Wow. Why is it double? The tax? So so you have to import it from you couldn't order it from a local retailer in Brazil then, I assume? Is that what you're saying? There's no retailer there you could get it from? 'Cause ZWO is based in China, is it not? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not I think it would work, but I don't wanna screw this up just in case. Let's see, who we missing here? Um, we got 12 folks on. Anybody else out there that, would like to introduce yourself to this fine group? Or anybody have any questions? Well, I feel like Scott's got more reasonable experience than I have, so I don't wanna set him up here, but for anybody, if you got questions or comments, throw them out there. If we can help out any way we can. With Scott earlier, I can't recommend the groups I'm familiar with. It's more of an introductory group than the regular ZWO official group because I think the ZWO official group, um, you get some more experienced users in there, and they can get a little. They get a little bit more complicated to deal call it, but this group's fantastic. I just started messing with them here, so it's this straight out of SeeStar, and I'm not affiliated with them, so I'm not promoting them, but it's a no post process because there's people just taking stuff right off their scope, right off their SeeStar and sharing it, and there's somebody doing Andromeda there a couple days ago, but they're just taking it straight off the scope, and it's more of a beginner group So you might feel more comfortable if you're just getting into this, maybe getting involved in that group. Let's see. Don't wanna say, Chris says the only option I got was the dust cover. I ordered a newer brand leveler with the three. Yeah, so I've got that same one, Chris. I got mine from Aptura. I think they're the same ones, and it is handy to have that. I do have mine on my scope. I don't mess with it very much though. Like I said tonight, I was point 0.4, and I'm okay at point 0.4 degrees off. Steve says the retailer will probably have a serious markup. Yeah, no doubt about it. And then Fernando says just tax rules. People were buying a lot of AliExpress and Chinese electronics, so the government just increased the tax to protect. Okay, gotcha. I get you. Oof, that's just pricey. Steve says I was working in Dubai for 2 years, and everything you wanted from your home had big markups too for shipping and tax. Okay, yeah, that's a world I'm not very familiar with. That really sucks. It really is. I'm not affiliated with SeeStar, obviously, Fernando, but I don't know if you know anybody there, but they're just fantastic. Oh, hey, Kevin. Yeah, I flipped my name to this. I'm trying to. A lot of what I do is so Kevin says, "Hey, don't go by under the radar anymore." Yeah, I switched to this name as I came back. I took some time off and went to TikTok because there were some astronomy groups on TikTok where I could grow my followers a lot faster, and I really enjoy where, on TikTok, people can go live with you and you can talk back and forth instead of just listening to my stupid voice. So I've invested a lot of time there, and I could grow a crowd pretty easily there. But that's a different crowd though. It's a lot younger folks. So I'm popping back on here, but I changed my name to Born to Retire because I'm getting close to retirement, and I'm trying to share different hobbies with people going into retirement that they could get into, and this is definitely one of them. So that's that. I flipped my name to it, and I know it causes problems sometimes, but I did do that. How have you been? And you're gonna have to remind me where you are at. I think you said are you St. Louis area, or are you Minneapolis area? You're Green Bay, or you're in upstate New York. You're one of those. I forget which one. You're one of those areas. I forget which one. Oh, there's New York Raider fan. How are you, sir? Scott says he was trying to hide from us, but we always find out. Yeah, I'm trying to, I'll never get rich on YouTube and don't expect it, but I'm trying to get. I set a goal to try to figure out how to monetize myself on here, and that name I had, I think, was throwing some people off on the retirement side. So I tried to find something that was a little more logical for people who were interested in hobbies and retirement. Let's see. New York Raider fan Cole. The Bills are winning so far. That's great. Scott. Hey there, Raider fan, and new Raider fan. Hey to you, Kevin. Yeah. Okay. -17 in Minnesota, and I just retired from farming after 49 years. Yep, I remember talking to you now. -17. You got me beat, my friend. You got all of us beat here at. I am at. I'm at 4 now. We're 4 degrees here, so you got me beat. And if I remember, you do have a SeeStar. Uh, New York Raider fan.